My favorite shooting guard prospect in the class of 2026 is getting closer to decision time. Jasiah Jervis. It's been a hotly contested recruitment. We have covered it from start to finish, and there's still a little bit to go before we get to the finish. But there were some updates courtesy of On3 this week. I believe Tipton did sort of a where do things stand with Jasiah piece. And this is what we heard. Michigan State is trending. They're in a very good spot right now. Tom Izzo has put a lot of work in, and we know this. Beyond Michigan State, Jasiah Jervis is still expected to go to a couple other schools. He is supposed to go to Florida and Illinois, still yet to come. He's already been to NC State. I believe he's already been to Pitt. And I think he wants to go to Tennessee. So there are still six schools involved in the mix for Jasiah. Michigan State may have a slight lead by the sounds of it, but NC State, Pitt, Florida, Illinois, Tennessee still in the mix. Some still to get visits. Along the way here, Jasiah gave a quote that was interesting in this conversation. He was asked who he models his game after. Jasiah said this quote, "I've heard I play like Gary Harris. I try to model my game a little bit after Devin Booker and a little bit of Shea. Just their pace. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, of course." Okay. Devin Booker and Shea, but you know what? Let's lead with Gary Harris instead of Devin Booker and Shea. Pretty obvious Michigan State connection there. If Jasiah is being told he plays like Gary Harris, I wonder where that's coming from. Maybe the coaching staff that's next to him every lunch hour. This seems ominous and a great sign for Michigan State, does it not?
Phenomenal sign for Michigan State. They're gonna seemingly they're gonna get Jasiah Jervis and Ethan Taylor. I might do my second crystal ball here in a few weeks once some more information comes out just to make sure I'm 100% correct. But I think they're gonna get both of them quickly though. Jasiah Jervis, like what are we talking about, man? You model your game after Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and Devin Booker, two of the greatest scorers maybe in the history of the sport, one-on-one scorers in the history of the sport, two ball handlers, two facilitators, an NBA champion, MVP. I believe my dog Shea might have even got an NBA cup. I don't know if that's true or not. Devin Booker's making $75 million this year. Michigan State told you play like Gary Harris, and that excited you? You model your game after an MVP, and they said, "Hey man, we see a lot of Gary Harris in you. That's what you wanted." I don't know, man. Like I don't I don't know. Like I'm not trying to take anything away from Gary Harris or Michigan State, but if I model my game after the reigning MVP and you hit me with a Gary Harris, I don't think I'm taking that the most positive. I really don't.
Yeah, okay. So a couple things I just want to note here. Tom Izzo loves Gary Harris. Michigan State fans love Gary Harris. Why wouldn't you? Obviously, Gary Harris was a great player and a Spartan dog and one of the more fun guys in recent memory. Those Gary Harris teams were fun. He was very good. He went to the league in 2 years. All of this stuff. He was a five-star recruit when he committed. I was in school when he was there. Um, it is funny because it speaks to the way Michigan State recruits a little bit that like that's our peak comparison for any shooting guard ever. Not to diss it, he's a great player, but yeah, he's not Shea. He's not an NBA superstar. He's not even like a Draymond type or any of those guys. He's Gary Harris, and this is not the only recruit that they've done this with. Basically, any two guard that they've recruited that they really like ever draws a Gary Harris comp. I do just want to say this. I don't think Jasiah plays like Gary Harris at all. At all. Gary Harris was like a 3 and D guy to the max who was great. He was great. He was an elite defender. He always guarded the best perimeter player and he was a prolific volume three-point scorer, big time athlete, all these things. I don't really think anything I just said applies to Josiah though. Dion, how's your job going?
Beginning of the school year, everything's like a little up and down. One of the biggest issues we've had is we can't find any uniforms for our girls' sports teams.
Mm, that's a difficult thing to find a solution for. I know damn well all about that because I got a daughter that just turned 2. She's into sports and she's already outgrowing every little piece of sports apparel she had. Thankfully, I know Clara Kate Creations. Clara Kate Creations was started by a former high school teacher who quit because it wasn't cost effective to send new twins and a 2 year old to daycare. She found it easier to make girl sports apparel than finding it to buy. And I am so thankful that she exists because if we have an old shirt of Murph's that she's outgrown, we can send it in and she takes that piece of apparel that means something and upcycles it into an outfit that Murphy can now wear as she grows up. She makes great stuff. It's honestly kind of like your fullback's wife, Kyle Juszczyk. Is that how you say it? She does that, but honestly, I think Clara Kate's coming for Mrs. Juszczyk's job.
I love that. I'm a big Juice guy. Love his wife. Love Claire Kate even more than both of them, though.
You can send in your own custom ideas and she will come up with a design. She's just the best. Look up Clara Kate Creations on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and more. Like Josiah is not the world's most explosive athlete. He's certainly not a 3 and D guy. I don't really think defense is one of the first five things I would bring up when I praise Jasiah Jervis's game. And offensively, he's a lot more wiggly on the ball than Gary Harris ever was. So it's just a little bit funny because it's almost like it's the default stock comparison they're going to use. I don't think their games are anything like each other, but it doesn't matter if their games are or are not like each other. If Jasiah Jervis thinks that's a positive comp and is leading interviews by saying, "Well, I'm told I play like Gary Harris," tells you all you need to know about where Michigan State stands. And a week ago, look, we came on here and said it was a murky recruitment for Michigan State. If I'm reading everything right now, Jasiah wants to go here. The problem is there are members of his camp that might not. But clearly, like Josiah's coming home and be like, man, I love them. They told me I'm Gary. And his camp is just like, you're not Gary, you're Shea.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we do with that. But for now, it's got to be taken as a great sign for Michigan State that this is how the kid feels.
I completely agree with everything you just said, and like I'm not trying to like downplay any of this. The camp might be this might be the smartest camp any recruits ever had. Like if he's coming home talking about they called me Gary Harris and they're like, okay, let's go to NC State then. That makes sense to me. And I'm not trying to take away anything from what Gary Harris did at Michigan State. Obviously, like Izzo's love for Gary Harris, the fan base, the culture, everybody's love for Gary Harris. If that if you understand that and that resonates with you, then the Gary Harris comp is probably amazing, right? But if you don't have that understanding of what Gary Harris meant to the campus because you're a high school senior and we're what, like 9 when Gary Harris was at Michigan State, like I don't think that I don't think that comp should hit home the way it is with Josiah Jervis, but this is where Izzo's just in his bag. Credit to Izzo, man. Like he's made it all work. I believe he's gonna get Josiah Jervis, but we normally get on here and we talk about like the camps need to not be involved. The camp that like the camps are doing all these crazy things. If the camp's like, hey man, like Gary Harris ain't exactly what we want to be compared to. This is the smartest camp any recruit's ever had.
Yeah, I mean, Gary is going on his 12th year in the NBA. Like, he's incredible. It's also crazy. It's been 12 years since Gary Harris was in college, but, you know, I don't know. It's, all right. I really I waited long enough. Now I feel I can do this. So Gary Harris, the 11th rated recruit in the class of 2011, five-star recruit who ended up needing to spend 2 years in college, never made a Final Four, and was drafted 19th overall by the Chicago Bulls. 11 spots lower than Nick Stauskas was drafted.
Big like Clay, shoot like Steph.
Now, Josiah is not a consensus top 12 player in his class. So if Josiah was a two and done taken 19th overall, I think Josiah is ecstatic. But like it's not like Gary was unbelievable to the point he was a top five pick at Michigan State. It was two very good years that honestly fell a little bit short of the best Michigan State standards, I think. And now he like the fact that that's the peak comparison guy for me. Like call him Zell. His game is more like Denzel Valentine to me than it is Gary, but I guess Gary's still in the league, and that's why you do Gary.
I do want I want to say this to credit Gary Harris a little bit because I feel like I just was like kind of not trying to trash him, but kind of was. If the quote was, "I've been told I need to play like Gary Harris to get to the NBA," that is correct. That is correct. If Jasiah Jervis's goal is like the next level at some point, replicating what Gary Harris does is your ticket to that. And like that's the ticket for a lot of people. 3 and D, that's the most like wanted thing in sports at the moment. So to me, it's more so just like I've been told I play like Gary Harris. Like, well, I mean, what are we talking about?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
he's more like Bones Highland, Karis LeVert than Gary, by the way. But again, it's fine. Clearly he loves the comp, and that terrifies me. Also, recruiting's hilarious because he gave one quote on this, and every single like fan site is reporting it differently. Like, there's an article out from a Florida on 3 site this morning that says Boogie Flan connection could give Jasiah Jervis in Florida an edge, and somehow it's like Devin Booker be like somehow Devin Booker's tied to Boogie Flan, which helps Florida get Jasiah Jervis. Like, no, maybe just talk about what he led with, which was a Michigan State guy from 12 years ago. Florida doesn't get an edge because of this, okay? God, recruiting is wild. If Josiah goes to Michigan State, Dion, I'm gonna have to come to terms with Michigan State having my favorite backcourt in the country.
they'd have an insane recruiting class. The only thing I'd say if you're in Michigan to provide solace, last time Michigan State did that, one of them's at UCLA now.
Medlock and Jervis together would break me momentarily until my coach spent millions on other players.